up to me and personally asked me if I wanted to be a part of this program that the counselors were starting up called Building Community. He said that they were looking for students who were committed, responsible, and showed leadership. I personally didn't see these traits in myself, but he did. So I stepped up to the challenge. What is Building Community? Building Community is when a diverse group of students goes into their advisory classroom on the last Friday of every month. And advisory is a 30-minute break after lunch on Thursdays and Fridays. The advisory leaders teach and lead lessons on diversity, respect, and cultural tolerance. This year, Building Community is focusing and learning on empowering self, others, and personal goals, values, and respect. Before I started this project, I had prior knowledge on trying to build community because many days throughout the month I volunteer with a outreach organization called Positive Ladies with Class, and we feed the homeless and we also give them hygiene items. What is the goal of this project? My personal goal is to help students see that their role is important in their community and to just have them are open up to new experiences, leadership models, role models, and just new experiences within their community.
Okay, I found this on the web from
I know this particular goal is needed in my community because I have experienced it myself. When I was granted the opportunity to be in Building Community last year, I was really scared, but through Building Community, I made lots of new friendships and I also met amazing people. The global context is identities and relationships because I want to let the students see their roles and who they are in their community. I also want them to know that it is important to give back, and I want the students to lead their classes in many topics like diversity and respect, and they can become one of our future's major contributors to society. Prior knowledge. Before this project, I had great knowledge on planning because this year I was doing Building Community, so I met with Ms. Martinez, the head of Building Community, and I helped her plan the lessons, and I also interviewed and had many meetings with her. So I helped her plan lessons, and within these planning, I had to investigate, plan, take action, and reflect. And these are the many concepts that the community service project needs. So the sources of my research. I interviewed Ms. Martinez and I also had meetings with her. I used the internet, and my third source was being part of Building Community as a core leader and an advisory leader. So as a result of my research, I interviewed 3 advisory classes. I interviewed a 6th grade class, 7th grade class, and also an 8th grade class. I found out that 15% of students said they have been bullied in the past month. I found out that 28% said that they've witnessed bullying in the past month, and 81% said that they have reached out to somebody outside their friendship circle. I asked them, do you feel that the students here at Pacific Beach Middle are friendly? 16% said always, 76% said sometimes, and 6% said never. I asked them the same thing about adults. 51% said always, 42% said sometimes, 6% said never. I asked them, do you feel like you have a voice here at Pacific Beach Middle School? 40% said sometimes, 40% said always, 45% said sometimes, and 15% said never. I asked them, my final question was, do you feel like you're a part of the community here at Pacific Beach Middle School? 45% said sometimes, 32% said always, and 12% said never. I asked them to leave comments on the back of the survey. For example, this one says, I enjoyed my time here at Pacific Beach Middle School. This was one of the more positive ones. The comment was, I love this school. This one was also one of the more positive ones. Okay,
Thank you.
and if, for example, this one said, when the students aren't nice, it's normally for a stupid reason. Sometimes I don't feel like I have a voice because I get interrupted every once in a while. And then this one said, I was bullied not too severely it was just ignorance and pretending I was invisible. Okay, so in my research on the internet, I found out that when jobs are looking for people to take positions, they are looking for people with certain characteristics. So they look for people that have great communicational skills, that could collaborate with others. They also have great work ethics. They are determined and persistent. So I personally feel like here at Building Community, we do offer and help the students develop those traits. So they collaborate with their partners to bring lessons to their classes, advisory classes, to teach on diversity, respect, cultural tolerance, and this year's self-empowerment. Proposal for action. Therefore, based on my prior knowledge, my proposal to action is to help all students feel like they are welcomed and valued. And result of them feeling that they are noticed and appreciated, I hope to build a more inclusive community. Based on my proposal, my plan is to be as committed as I could be when it comes to being a leader and building community. Self-manage it. Through building community, we had a lot of meetings and we had to maintain a positive mindset. We had many challenges. I personally had to get over my stage fright, and I had to project my voice and make more eye contact. So that was the challenges I faced. What I actually did was I helped Ms. Martinez plan our last building community lesson. So I helped her plan it, and I also gave one of the most important people when it came to this a thank you letter. So what was our last lesson in building community? Well, our last lesson was start with hello. As you can see, this was the start with hello logo, and this is my community process journal too. So I open this every day, just reminding me to start with hello and be positive towards everybody. And this is my journal. So like since day one this year, when I knew this was going to be my project, I wrote of what we did that day, and I reflected on it. And at the bottom of each page, you can see that I wrote an inspirational word, just reminding me of what that day was about. So at the bottom, like you can see, perspective, acceptance, endeavors, inclusivity, and guidance. So, I'm gonna pass that around. So our last lesson was a PowerPoint presentation made up by the parents of the Sandy Hook tragedy when many of their young students died. So they made a presentation saying that the people that took that action maybe was feeling isolated and alone. So they had a presentation basically just starting with icebreakers of how to talk to somebody and just basically start with hello. I interviewed one core leader and 2 advisory leaders that participated in building community this year. I interviewed one core leader, Claire Gianola. I interviewed 2 advisory leaders, Mackenzie Murphy and Melanie Torres. Okay, so I asked them, if you could rate building community on a scale of 1 to 10, what would it be? 1 being the worst, 10 being the greatest. If you could pick one lesson that resonated with you the most, what would it be? And I also asked them, what suggestions would you tell me that I can improve for next year? Mackenzie said she would give it a good 8, because she said that she didn't like how we only had one meeting before they had to present to the next, to their class in the next week. So she wanted more meetings. She said her favorite lesson was start with hello. Melanie said that she would give it a good 9. She said that she would like to have more lessons like start with hello, because she felt like the students were more in participating in it and were more interested. I asked Claire, she said that her favorite lesson was this poster. Well, this was our first lesson, and we made posters, and this one was about values. So we asked our class what was their values. Some students said equality, education, pets, family, friends. So we just basically wrote it down. Sorry. And then we asked them the same thing about empowerment. So we asked them, what does empowerment mean and what empowers you? They said, great, give power, encouragement, friends, teachers. As you can see here, this is my letter that I gave to my 7th grade teacher because he picked me for it. I gave it to Mr. Wood, and this letter basically is saying that I am grateful for him at first being my teacher, giving me education, but I'm also grateful for putting me in this program because without this program, I want to be the person I am today, and I'm glad of the person I have become. And this is the Start with Hello logo. What I've learned in orchestra helping with this project, because personally in orchestra, I play the violin, and I have noticed that we all use our strengths and weaknesses to come together and play music for our community. I also, this related to building community because I have felt that we all use our strengths and weaknesses to take topics and lessons to our class and like about diversity, and we just have a goal of helping this community become more inclusive. Some challenges I faced were getting out my comfort zone and getting over my stage fright. I have personally gotten over that. I feel problems I anticipated is that the students that we first picked were going to be committed and willing, but some students that weren't, they weren't. So I had to go out and find people myself. I had an experience with my friend that wasn't committed at first. Ms. Martinez also asked the students for recommendations if they know somebody that was willing and committed. So this shows that students do have the personality and the characteristic traits, but they don't have the opportunity to lead. I demonstrated critical thinking because in this survey, I try to formulate the questions, not so like the people that have been bullied in the past month don't feel targeted and feel like this survey was made for them. I try to make it overall for the whole population that I was surveying. I demonstrated creative thinking because this survey went with my building community topic. It went with the Start with Hello, and it also went with this year's lesson and focus for building community. The following solutions I propose. So maybe we take it to nearby schools, and as they help build a community, we all could become one big community, and I just feel like this is a great program. How do I compare what I said to my proposal? Well, personally, I have impressed myself, and I have developed many strengths and goals, and I have achieved them, and I want to be able to do it without this year's leaders. What kind of impact will I made? Well, I hope I made a helping impact rather than a non-helping impact. I try to just help this community grow and become better. What would I do differently next time? Well, next time, rather than just surveying 3 classes, I will survey the whole school. And I will also give them a treat for thanking them for giving me their feedback and helping me gather information. I learned that if you have the right intentions and the perseverance, that it doesn't matter who you are, what size, what shape, you can make a difference in your community. My knowledge and understanding of community service was expanded because I found out that even if you're just part of a club, it does count as community service. I've also found out it doesn't have to happen often. For example, building community only happened the last Friday of every month, but it still made a huge impact. I developed in the following areas. I developed in communication skills, research skills, and creative and critical thinking. So this was my first time going out in my community and researching myself. And this was also creative and critical because this related to all 3, my building community project, building community this year, and Start with Hello.